Welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. Leave there your conveniences. Tonight I have for you the Tin Man. Set out your notes and sit.
Listen to this, Tin Man.
Okay. Ready.
I'm attempting to connect Casablanca to Forgetting Sarah Marshall to Nosferatu, all in the same conversation.
Okay.
Let's see if we can bring it home tonight.
All right. I'm on board. Let's see what we can do.
All right. Nosferatu is a 2024 film written and directed by Robert Eggers, starring Lily Rose Depp, Nick Holt,
Nicole.
Bill Skarsgård, I think it was Bill,
Yes.
one of the Skarsgårds, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. Taking the synopsis straight from IMDb, it is a gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman and the terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold horror in its wake.
Yeah.
Shall I go through our talking points?
Yeah, you know what? Oh, let me bell.
Oh, I should say no K-Max tonight.
Yes, K-Max is absent.
Mano y mano.
Yep.
As they say.
He's in Arizona. I think.
Yeah, much warmer place than us.
Yep.
Supposed to be, what, negative 25 overnight? Something like that?
Negative 20. Today, yes.
Like going into tomorrow?
Today is supposed to be the coldest day of the year, I think.
Ooh. Well,
Picked a heck of a day.
yeah. Only what, 35 of them so far?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's ding me.
Ding it up.
First, initial reactions, favorite scenes. Most haunting scenes. Cinematic tools. What relates to our contemporary lens on relationships. Theme. And how do you view the use of Dracula in Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Nice. All right. I don't think I had those talking points. Did I? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to be shooting a lot from the hip today.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm only one guy. I'm usually
As am I.
I can usually you know what, K-Max, take this first one while I Google and type stuff to come up with an answer. Stall for me, homie. You know, like.
So the first one though, initial reactions, favorite scenes.
Okay, initial reactions. I thought it was weird because I think I watched the first half of it, and then we went to basketball, and I was telling you, I was like, I don't know where this is going. Like, it doesn't have like a, hey, we're going to depart from this normal thing, and then it's going to be this type of story. It was, okay, then this happened. Then these weird villagers are doing dances, and then they kill someone in a grave, and then he wakes up and his horse is gone. And it goes like, I was like, where's it going? So I got through the first maybe 30 minutes before basketball. But after that, it started to make a little more sense where, like, okay, this is the plan, this is the plot, this is what we're working with. Also, I'm used to more vampire movies being like, hey, here's the rules for vampires, and then playing within those rules. Where this one definitely had a more original feel where he's almost, it's almost like demonic in nature, and it's spilling over into the spiritual world. Like his dark presence spills over, and it shows up as plagues, it shows up as dreams, it shows up as all this twisted stuff. And it's not quite firm on there. Because I'm like, he got bit. Is he going to turn? You know, like I wasn't sure on how those rules work. So I think part of my brain was trying to fit the rules into this. And after going through the whole movie, I was like, no, it's not like that. This is more to the original, you know, where it's almost like he's more of an entity, I guess. More of I mean, if you were to quote himself, appetite. It's very, very simple in his drive and his force, but it's kind of pushing from the dark, like from another dimension in the dark side of the world. He's kind of forcing over. So it took me a minute to kind of wrap my head around understanding what was going on.
Right. Hearing you talk reminded me of Interview with the Vampire, where it was like, oh, coffins are a necessity. Like he's going through the guy writing the
checklist.
The journalist, whatever he is, of like, oh, well, what garlic, you know. And so he's trying to tell him, no, here's how it is. He like goes through all the rules and lists and all that. But yeah, this one wasn't about that. You know, it was like, this is just darkness. This is
right.
You know,
it's like evil, evil incarnate.
You had mentioned that at first it felt like just a straight up period piece.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
You said something earlier where it said something between something, and I was like, betwixt. I almost like correct you. Like I was feeling very.
Wasn't that one of the
century,
famous words from Dead Man? It's no. Oh, Night of the Hunter.
Night of the Hunter. Yeah.
That's betwixt us.
Yeah, it's betwixt us.
I saw this one in theaters when it came out. It was me and Tiffy.
Okay.
I think it was just us two went to go see it. And I think we were late because I don't remember seeing the opening where she's like praying for
that like kind of like monologue.
And then even when she goes into like that seizure activity, that spastic movement on the ground, I didn't see any of that. So I don't remember exactly when we walked in, but I think I was late.
Okay.
At least I don't remember that opening part. But I feel like I went into it thinking like, all right, I know some of this guy's work, so I'm not going to try and expect anything and just see what happens.
Yeah.
And I remember really liking it, but kind of like, well, we'll see when I see it again. And you know, it came out on Blu-ray. I'm like, well, I'm going to get it. Who knows when I'll see it again? So I actually haven't watched it since then.
Okay.
I mean, you know, I watched it for this podcast, but I didn't watch it in between it being released and now.
Okay.
So, how about favorite scenes?
I kind of like anything with Willem Dafoe in it. I like some of his. I don't know. There's a few that I kind of really like, but he makes the story make sense to me. For whatever reason, it seems kind of vague, and they're the way they talk sometimes. I'm like, wait, what is going on here? Is he trying to? Because it took me a little while watching it. I'm like, he's selling property, like he's doing like a real estate deal with the count. And for whatever reason, I'm like, what am I missing? What like? I see, he's trying to make him sign a contract. Wasn't quite sure what for, but it's for property. I don't know my favorite scenes though.
Well, say that
you go first. And then
I remember watching the trailers, and I was drawn to that voice that Skarsgård did.
That, you know what? That is a super cool scene. That like the long, the long back and forth talk between them.
Yeah, so I think that has to be my favorite scene. Is their first like dinner.
Is a good one.
When he introduces himself, and just that odd interaction between them. And I remember thinking, like, you think Nosferatu, you think monster. Like, even though you got Nosferatu, you got Dracula. When you say sophisticated and cultural, you kind of think Dracula.
Right.
And Nosferatu, you think, like, the monster, the bald vampire, you know, with the long fingers. You think, like, creature.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing him and how he's portrayed. I was like, he's much more human than I was expecting.
Yeah.
And like the way he was talking, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to see a monster here. Like I remember really enjoying that scene because it reset like any thoughts you had about what Nosferatu the character was.
Yeah. That was a cool scene because it was slow. His words were very deliberate.
He was always in control, like just the way he had his. He didn't have to rush anything,
right?
And everything's a setup for it. You know? Even the journey that Nicole had,
even the like long, confusing, lost journey he's on to finally go. Is this where I'm headed? Is this the right place? I think I would have turned back a few times if that were me. But like, I don't know how many times it looked like he was saying like, "Well, I've gotten this far, I might as well keep going." And I'm like, I feel it, buddy. I feel it. This is quite. Oh, you got your horse taken too. Jeez, I don't know, man. Stay at the inn, I guess.
Right. I thought the movie was haunting and beautiful and disgusting, both visually and emotionally, and all at the same time. So it was hard to feel comforted, I guess. It felt like it was always changing, but beautiful at the same time. Like, hard to describe, I guess. But it kept me interested the whole time because it just felt so fluid, I guess. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on...
I don't know if I want to use it as the most haunting scene or not.
Well, let's go into haunting scene then.
Okay. Ding it. All right.
I should preface the haunting. We talked about this, was it last season? Maybe the season before? Where haunting doesn't necessarily mean scariest, but
right.
something that sticks with you after watching it.
Okay. Then I definitely have my pick. It's going to be the sex scene that she has with her husband, Thomas. Because it's like taking over her, and he's seeing flashes of him, and she's like, where he's seeing her, where there's like blood coming out of her eyes, and yet they're still trying to screw through it. Like there's so much that feels like it's at stake, and it's like, oh, she has these needs that are in a primal level, and he's not enough to satisfy her because of this demonic spirit that's doing all the like base level of your brain is all sold to this guy, and he's trying his best to be the good man who went on this journey to finally get a good job, to have the money for a good house and do it the proper way, and she's cursed on top of it. Like, there's so much going on in that scene, and I remember thinking like there was a lot here, and it was like, I would say that was the definition of haunting, at least for me, in that whole scene.
Yeah,
because they're like,
it felt like Nosferatu, like you had the id, the ego, the superego. Id was like it's the primal one, right?
Yes, yeah, that's the lowest one.
Nosferatu or Orlok is like the id, where like you can't deny it. Mm-hmm. And you had what's Nick Holt's name in the movie?
Thomas Hutter, Hutter,
Hutter. So he would be, I guess, the superego, right? So you got opposite ends of the spectrum here, and it felt like there was no ego though. It was just a constant battle with Ellen to go one way or the other. Yeah, there was no like balance in between the both of them. And
she makes some screwed up faces throughout it, like the one where her tongue's in the side and her eyes roll back, like. Oh.
So I think I have to agree with you for the most haunting scene. The idea that she could become someone entirely different based on someone from her past overtaking her mind. Yeah, right? Yeah. And so watching with a lens of relationships, this scene becomes more impactful to me than just a fictional vampire mind controlling someone, which I guess, yes, is pretty frightening concept on its own. But the scene becomes a metaphor for how someone from a past relationship can still control another person, even one in a current committed relationship, and in an instant make them unrecognizable. Like she kind of walks to the side of the room, she's facing the window, and then you see her kind of slowly turn her head over her right shoulder at him, and like in that moment you're like, oh, this is someone else now. Yeah. And we could tell her personality has changed, and she starts to go off on him, just like berating him and
Right.
they're like, oh, what good is this? Where's this? You know, just questioning him.
That was one thing too, was that she like blamed him for selling her to the Count, and Nicole. I keep calling him Nicole.
Nicole. Another Arrested Development reference for listeners. Steve.
Air Hunter. Like, Thomas. Let's call him Thomas. Maybe
Thomas,
easier.
yep.
So, like, Thomas, I feel like is it's like a victim of the situation, because like he's trying to do he's trying his best, and he's like sold you out. Like he didn't realize he was being like getting the wool pulled over his eyes by the Count, because the contract was for her. He didn't know. He's like, I'm trying to buy a house. There's a handful of gold, you know. So I mean, that's gonna make you look the other way too. But he didn't know any better, and so he's getting blamed for that. You know. So I'm like, ooh. And did she believe him? Does she believe him? Does she believe the Count?
And it's like, in that moment, it didn't feel like it mattered if she believed or if she knew that it was a trick. It was just something to throw in his face.
Right. It was meant to hurt. Like, it was not.
Right. Like, it didn't matter if it was true or if he was tricked or anything. Like, she was going to throw it in his face to hurt him and provoke him a little bit. So I felt, you see Thomas is futile in his attempts to converse rationally and defend his gestures to improve their lives. And then he is both repulsed and allured to the raw physicality that someone else has provoked in her. When she says, "You could never please me as he could."
Yeah.
And he kind of looks down at her like, "Oh, yeah." But that interaction right there, it felt so modern, though.
Yeah.
Like you could hear that insult between an arguing couple today, and then someone kind of acting the same way that he did, like, "Oh, I'll show you. Like, you want to see that side of me?" And Thomas is trying to do his best for her, like you said, and like he survived a living nightmare to return back to her, like escaped wolves, jumped off whatever, and floated in the water
in the middle of the night and got his blood drained by it. And then got
his heart bit.
He tried to.
But
he tried to kill the Count too, didn't he? Was that the same night?
He went there, yeah.
And then this naked zombie jumps out of a coffin. And he runs off. He's like, is this even real? Like he woke up in front of the fireplace with the fire done. He's like, what's going on? You know.
But it was the survival of Ellen's own living nightmare that gives her the source to lash out, insult him, blame him, and antagonize him, all to switch again and be so lustful for her husband. It's like that's haunting to me on several levels.
Yeah.
Her performance is crazy good. I'm surprised it doesn't get more recognition just from the physical performance, not and that's not counting like her able to switch, that personality. But yeah, I'd say that was my most haunting scene. Did you have any others?
I did like that first scene where he shows up and is talking to the Count, because Thomas is like visibly shook while trying to do this deal. And I think that was the coolest thing, because you don't really see the Count. I think you can kind of see his mustache, at least on my screen. You could kind of see he has a mustache, but you can't see his face at all. And you see his hand when he's giving him the contract and stuff. But Thomas is like freaking out, just sitting with him, talking to him. And it's like, man, what is he seeing that we can't see?
Right,
that
or
this
feeling.
Is his reaction.
Or,
Right.
Because like Orlok's got whatever powers he's got, and towards the end of that scene, Thomas looks over and that like statue is like starting to move its face.
Yeah. Or he thinks it's like turning towards him and stuff. Yeah.
And I had to rewind that too. I'm like, is
it
moving?
Yeah.
Am I under his spell?
Yeah. But you know what? It also kind of gave me that vibe, like in Weapons, where the witch is. I don't know if she's actively trying to freak people out in their dreams and making them see things. I think that's just her influence is showing up in people's periphery, And I wonder if his is kind of like that too, because it's not a set in stone power. It's like this influence or this radiation that comes off, and sometimes you get whispers of it, sometimes you get a lot of it, sometimes just in your dreams, sometimes it's in your weakened states, you know. But I like that it's more ambiguous. It's not like he doesn't have that power.
Right.
Vampires, I can't do that.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Pushing my glasses. Excuse me. No, that's not a thing he does. He had some bad mead the night before, and that's where the dream came from. You know, it wasn't like that. So I do like that ominous vibe that's out there. That's
Like, you don't know what this guy's capable
right.
of.
But there is no defined line on what he can or can't do just yet. So it's what is it? You know.
Because even when he found the coffin that first night, and he went to go there, it was like the sun went away just as he got close enough. So it made you feel like there's no killing this guy. Like
Right.
He's got even power when he's asleep. He's got power to turn the lights off and be active. I think another haunting scene for me, it should have been more haunting than it was, I think. But I think or at least I was exposed to so much throughout the movie and trying to take it all in. By the time you get to, what is his buddy's name?
Knock.
No, Thomas's buddy.
Man, Taylor Johnson.
Aaron
Taylor.
Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. Friedrich.
This is sophisticated side.
So when Friedrich, when he's mourning the death of his family, and he goes to the mausoleum, and he like removes the top, and he's talking to her over top of the coffin or whatever, and he coughs up blood, and you're kind of like, oh, this guy's doomed. But then he takes the cover off, and you're like, oh, how far are we going? And like full on kisses her. Then it's kind of insinuated he may have done more than that between then and when they find him dead in there. So like that was pretty haunting, thinking about what may have gone on during that time, and how broken you have to be to entertain even trying any of that.
Yeah, because he to me, he represented because he says it too when Thomas is talking to Orlok in the beginning. He's like, oh, there was these gypsies. I don't know if he called them gypsies. The other guy called them gypsies, but he's like, they had this thing. He's like, oh, that's what does he call it? Something ritual that
you find backward.
Yeah. But like those people seem to understand and were killing vampires. Like they had hey, we need to have a naked virgin on a horse, and that's how we find them. You know, like or something. You know, like there seemed to be a whole ritual around them killing vampires. You know, and they seem to know what's up, but they're not as sophisticated and classy like us folks. You know, and his family is victim to that because they turn a blind eye to. Oh, those things aren't real. We just gotta give her more ether and knock her out, tie her up as tight as we can. You know, we gotta bind her so that she can be as stuffy as us. But
it's watching it this time. Well, I should say the first time I watched it, it was so overwhelmingly related to relationships and the past. You know, past relationships coming back on you and. History of abuse and trauma and all that from those relationships. It was so overwhelming to me that, you know, I couldn't shake it. The further we went into the movie that first time I watched it, I said, wow, that's felt awfully like that. But I didn't come across too many other opinions that were so on that level of what I thought. And then watching it this time, though, I feel like I went even further with that because there's
I agree.
Like what you were just talking about. I'm like, yeah, that all relates to how contemporary that view on that interaction between Ellen and Orlok is.
Yeah, and even how Orlok was drinking blood, just like full hip thrusts for each gulp. Like that's like, oh, okay, buddy.
Like, no, this is where the heart is. Trust me.
Yeah. Going balls deep for this blood right here.
Take heed what you do.
But yes, very much. Because I didn't see it. When I first watched it was, I don't know, 3 days or the day right before I finished the whole thing. But you were like, yeah, right after when her first seizure, after she kind of invites him in and she accepts, she's like, ah. And I was like, oh, she's.
Yeah, like what kind of movements are these? What are we doing here?
Yes, they're very. It's a sexy seizure, I guess. I just.
Well, like even the camera angle when you get that like flash of Orlok,
It's him, right?
like
Yeah,
over
yeah.
top, like it looks like it's that type of position. He's got his kind of his hand down, like choking her, but he's on top. So,
Yep.
Well, let's move into cinematic tools, shall we? So I'll go through some of these, and we'll kind of discuss as we go.
Okay.
along. So, darkness, use of darkness, use of shadows. To me, it evoked a lot of control, right? Like someone's in that person's shadow. Just that idea. And everything in darkness feels as if it is under Nosferatu's control.
Yeah.
There's even that moment when he's at his new estate and he's at the window and he reaches out his hand and his shadow of his hand like goes across the whole town.
Yeah.
So like it just emphasized like, oh yeah, everything in darkness belongs to this guy, and this whole movie is going to be shot in the dark. So it just made you feel like you were under that control the whole time.
Yeah, they had a couple really good ones. There was one where he's like reaching out and he's in like the curtain, like there's like a shadow of him in the curtain, but he's not really there. Those a couple of them where I'm like, oh, he's not there, but he's there. There's some really good ones I thought they did, and I agree. I like that.
I think even in the beginning, the gypsies at the inn, I think they make a comment that says to be in his shadow is to be under his control.
Oh, okay.
So like it even points it out like, listen, if you're in the shadow, you're going to feel like you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And just the nature of darkness means the absence of light, which, light equals hope in most cases.
Right.
So when you shut out the light, you shut out the sun. There's no sun. There's very little sunlight in the movie. I'm not sure if we even see the sun itself.
In the end, it's very bright.
Yes.
In the end, yeah.
And like I said, hope.
Yep.
But other than that, it's just daylight and not.
Yeah, I think there's a few scenes where they shot it. The one where I was like, this feels like a period piece because it's
at
her
the
talking
harbor
with,
or whatever.
Yes, it's her talking with Aaron Taylor Johnson's wife, and they're just kind of walking on the side. I guess that was like a sunnier day, and they actually had to like cut the light from the scene, like dim it down. What do you call it? Like technically had to remove some of the light from the scene to wash it out. They're like, it's not supposed to be that bright. It's going to be dark. So
next I had was decay. So death and plague, taking of life. The plague also builds a sense of urgency. So taking of life until nothing remains. You can't live with the plague. Like you can't just live, okay, plague will stay over here, I'll stay over here.
Right.
No, plague is taking and taking and taking and putting you into a corner, and eventually it's going to kill everybody.
right.
So this idea of plague and decay, it also affects the collective, not just the targeted person. Like, even though Ellen is the target of Nosferatu, you feel like everybody is affected by this thing.
Right.
So it creates a overarching sense of dread and threat. And at least for me, it helps looking past the idea of why should we care if it's just one person? So why should we care if Nosferatu wants Ellen? Go ahead, take her, whatever. So it raises the idea of, well, we should all support our fellow person, our fellow woman, or, our fellow neighbor.
Our fellow victims.
Right. And that plays into what you mentioned earlier. What did you think of the use of decay in there?
I'm going to
Decay
say,
and
like,
plague.
he's pretty decayed. Like, the castle's pretty empty, and there's a whole lot of absence of light.
Yeah, it's that whole connection right there where plague and decay and death and everything just kind of rotting around, and you look at him and he looks like that too.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the house or his new estate looks that way as well. So everything that he is a part of. So you got the shadow, you got the decay. So it just feels like everything is encompassing around you.
Her dream, very much everyone was dead. Death itself was her husband, and she couldn't have been happier. And it scared her. So there's a whole lot of that spread, the influence, that deathly influence that's spreading because of him.
Yeah.
Well, because of the life she's given him now, because now he can feed off of her and everything around. Yeah, cancer. Very cancerous. That's the vibe I got, yeah.
Okay.
Also, I didn't know this, but Nosferatu, the original screenplay, the original movie, was actually like a unsanctioned pull from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Like their own interpretation to kind of avoid using
avoid,
quote, Dracula.
Yes. So that's why Orlok is Orlok, and I guess he is same names, and a lot of the stories very similar to the first one. To the original, was it like 19? It's not 1922.
Was it 19?
I thought it was 1922.
The original movie, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, somewhere around there.
And the movie, The Last Voyage of the Demeter, that is in the book. That's his journey on the boat.
Right.
And that's in the original Bram Stoker's. And him coming ashore, and it brings all the rats, with the plague that's coming with it. That's part of the book, original book too. That is the Demeter, the boat that he's on.
Did you watch that movie? Or?
I have not. I heard it wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
I think I heard it from you.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It was cool that they were able to make a whole story out of that little section right there.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of in the same arena as Decay here talk about the use of flowers. So Thomas tried to give Ellen a bouquet of flowers kind of in the beginning.
Okay.
Before he was going to venture out.
Right.
And her entire perspective on that gesture is skewed. Like she's upset that Thomas has killed these flowers since they'll die in a few days.
Yeah.
So she's like,
yeah, put them in water.
yeah.
Okay.
So this subtle yet powerful way to convey how her mind focuses on the decay and the start of death and the uselessness of something that was already destined for death. So just that idea that that's her perspective on things and not like, oh, how beautiful these things are,
right,
you know.
Right.
And the flowers are both a token of Thomas's affection and a symbol for the decay to their marriage that has already begun from the connection to Orlok. Because we just said that Orlok is darkness and decay and death, and these flowers are already doomed to that fate.
Yeah, okay, good word. Good word.
The specific choice of lilacs is noteworthy too. Mm-hmm. Because the filmmaker is so deliberate in choice, I looked up what lilacs symbolize. Besides the typical use of flowers like beauty, rebirth, etc., I found ideas of youth, innocence, spring, memory, or mourning. And here's an interesting one. Reminders of an old flame.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
they also only smell for like a small window. They don't smell all
and
the
there's
time.
more to the smell.
Yeah.
But I read that widows in the Victorian era wore them during the half mourning stage. So it's like not right after your spouse died, but like there's
Before
been
they
some
die?
time and before you're ready to get back into society.
Oh, okay.
Like so that half mourning stage, I guess. And
It's like half morning, like before they're dead.
yeah,
And like,
you're like 5 a.m. I looked up when the Victorian era began, and it says 1837. Do you remember the year that they made sure they put on the screen for us in the beginning?
I thought it was 1838.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, that checks out. Then. And I'm sure there's, I'm more than sure there's other historical context for that time, but it does fit the use of the lilacs in this situation. The idea that the lilacs are already on a countdown to death becomes all the more symbolic. And then you mentioned the smell. Lilacs were commonly used to mask the rotting smell during funerals. And they contain a chemical compound called indole. I think it's pronounced indole. Indole.
I don't know that.
So in low concentrations, it has a floral scent. But at high concentrations, it has a smell of rot.
Yeah.
So you may recall Franz keeps repeating that Ellen has too much blood. Franz,
Von Franz.
Yeah, the Van Helsing character. Mm-hmm. So too much blood. And though I think there's more to that idea on its own, I see it as a deep connection to the use of the lilacs, right? So high concentrations smell of rot rather than beauty. Yeah. And then at the end, Franz holds the flowers at the window there to kind of, put an ending to our story here. But it reminds us that it was always going to be this way for Ellen, right? Same way that the lilacs, you plucked them, they're already on a countdown to dying. And it's kind of perfect for what happens with Ellen. Like, she was always, it was always going to be her that had to end this.
Right.
And it was going to end with her. And then to have these flowers at the end, though, just like a funeral, right? That's what you bring to put a final, here's the end of this person's life, and they made their way back.
Yeah.
So
he actually holds them like that, exactly like that, like on her chest.
Yeah.
When he first gives them to her, like exactly the same pose she has at the end of the movie too.
And they're strewn around, like they're kind of scattered on the bed with them. So a symbol of affection, a symbol of decay, and a symbol of remembrance, all revealed throughout the story.
Yep.
Did you notice anything else, or do you know anything else about lilacs?
I know Orlok noticed them. Like he smelled them on, was it a locket or something?
Oh, right.
Lilac.
I love that. Well, I don't love it, but when Thomas, he's like, I'd like to go as soon as possible.
Yeah.
He's like, you should retire.
And he's like, you have my locket.
just waves him off.
Yeah.
No. You go sleep now.
So next thing I have is the Gothic aesthetic throughout this movie. And that's going to play into framing and deliberate choices in color. So they all connect to an idea here, and that's romanticism. Dark romanticism. Have you heard that term before?
Nope.
Okay. So this sounds contrary to how we've presented the idea of romanticism so far in the podcast. But this is where you see tormented protagonist, perhaps a little dramatic, where traditional romanticism plays up the overly optimistic, dark romanticism plays up the pain and the sadness and immorality. Not immortality, but immorality.
Oh, okay.
So kind of like the darker side of humans. But it plays it up, though. Not like, it's like romanticizing that part of it.
Okay.
Okay. And it often uses the supernatural and morbid in its stories. Think of it like the filmmaker is creating a painting, an artistic portrayal of emotional extremes. More of an expression of feelings and subjectivity of human nature than standard storytelling.
Okay.
So like Frankenstein, the one with Robert De Niro, I feel like had a lot of that.
Okay.
Where like he's like reciting poetry and reading, but he endorses like the violent side of things because that's all he was taught.
Okay.
Like that sort of thing.
Yeah. Like I'm poetic because I'm broken, and that's the beauty in it, or something like that.
Something along those lines.
Okay.
You see this enforced when the filmmaker makes deliberate artistic choices in the movie, like framing or color and lighting, When I say framing, you might notice how centered things are and how centered people are. Visibly, I mean, like you're looking at the screen and everything's in the center. Mm-hmm. The mise en scène evokes artistry rather than reality. So you can pick a scene and just pause it, and you'll see this, where like when Thomas rides to the castle, and it's a big wide shot, and it's a winding road in the mountains, and you see the castle off in the distance with the full moon above it, like very artistic and put together scene. Mm-hmm. When he's in the forest and the pathway is centered down the middle of the screen, and you got this carriage riding, and you got these horses, and you could just pause it at any moment in any of these scenes, and it's like a painting. So this kind of dark beauty and deliberate choices and how it's presented to the audience kind of plays up this gothic aesthetic. Okay. This dark romanticism. Even towards the end, the torches on the river when they're going to go to this estate. Yeah, and the state's off in the background, and it's up on a hill, and so everything is just, like I said, it's like a painting. Every single frame of this movie, you can pause it. It's like, oh, that would look good somewhere.
Well placed and spaced items throughout the painting. Yeah.
It all serves the purpose of darkly romanticizing our characters' madness, torment, and complex psyche. The use of doors and camera movement is also important in this movie. Doors are always center of the shot, and the camera movement is slow, steady, deliberate. We feel as if we're not in control, that our direction is manipulated. It's been decided for us.
Providence.
A door in the center of the shot makes us feel like we have nowhere else to go. There's no other option except to this door that is now opened. And when he first gets to the castle, you might recall the camera is like upside down and it like inverts, and then you're forced to go with it to the opening of the castle. Mm-hmm. And then when Thomas gets to the door, like that opens slowly. And then he has to go in, and the next door opens, and he has to go through that. And it's funny because I was trying to find certain parts of this movie, and so I push fast forward. And if you watch it and fast forward, it feels that all of what I just described feels amplified.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like everything's like slow and steady, and you feel like you're like on a movie, or you're on a like a moving track, like you're on a ride, is what it feels like, because it's just like slow, steady through the next open door, So it was actually a pretty fun accidental thing to find, watching it in double time. So our direction, our choices are being ushered by Count Orlok, going where he commands.
I wish you to do as I request.
Just as Thomas and Ellen are being manipulated. Mm-hmm. Do you recall a lot of the doorway uses in the movie?
Some
now?
Of them.
As
I noticed that the first time I watch a movie, I try to pick up on certain things, because there's times where you're like, did you notice this? Like, no. Did you notice this? Like, nope. Did you notice what color was it? Like, no. Didn't even notice the color. Like, what was I looking at? And it's always because I'm like trying to follow the plot first, and anything that seems, I don't know, set or background or secondary, I seem to block out to try to focus too hard on it. But the second time through, I try to pay more attention to those things. But
like even when they went to Knox home or whatever office, I don't know what it was, and they found like all those occult artifacts, like even that closet was centered. Yeah. So it was like we have nowhere else to look, and it's being presented directly to us. Mm-hmm. Not just the characters, but us as the audience, like kind of pulling us in to whatever the director's whims are. Now, did you listen to our episode on The Ritual?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not hear that one.
You've seen that one, though, right? I think I made you watch it a while back.
Is there a young kid that's in a treehouse at one point?
No, I don't think so.
What's that one?
I don't know. This one, the monster was like a giraffe moose looking thing with like a half human body in the front.
Who's in it? Who's the main character? I'm thinking of Antlers. I'm thinking of a different one.
Oh, that's what you're thinking of. Okay. Well, anyway, the use of the monster in that movie we talked about quite a bit. So I want to hear your thoughts first, though, on the use of Count Orlok. Like, what did you think about his presentation to us? His image, just anything about him. Like, what do you see in terms of storytelling for us?
All right. Well, he's very decayed. Looks like he has like missing patches of skin and stuff. He has a like overwhelming presence around him. It seems to be influential everywhere he goes. The mustache was an interesting choice. It's a very like long, bold mustache, and he doesn't really have too much hair on top. It was a dark mustache. It was not a gray mustache. It was like a full dark mustache. All right. Interesting choice. I don't know if that made it even creepier or less creepy. I don't know. But it definitely separated him from the other ones. I know like Dracula has like a freaky Palpatine look, and then like no, I'm a cool guy with these glasses. You know, like he's got like a different look
Like
where he
steampunk
can,
to
yes, he can like
to Mr. Burns.
To Mr. Yes, exactly right. he can Mr. Burns with what's her name? It's not Bette Midler hair, but
From Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Winifred
Yeah, he has
hair?
Winifred hair and then white Winifred hair and looking like zombie Palpatine, but he does not have a hey, I'm going out and being charming side.
Right.
Like,
There's
he does not
culture or sophistication.
Right. There's none of that, which I thought was really interesting. They never switched him up at all, and he's almost always showed being able to, I don't know, transform into a bat, but like, you know, where he has a going out face, you know, and this is his true form, you know, this monstrous version of him, like that he probably doesn't show to everyone. That is he's always monstrous looking. Like he doesn't.
It's a secret.
Yeah, that's my secret. I'm always monstrous.
So, the way Orlok is presented, more human than other depictions, I'd say, physically and emotionally.
I'd say that you couldn't tell he was a monster by his talk. He sounded old and in charge and deliberate in his speech. Whoa, you know, like, but it wasn't, and people are frightened of that, like maybe some uneasy hair on the back of your neck sense, but it's not quite, he's not flying. He's not, you know, it is kind of normal, other than the skin stuff, but that's not, if you're in the dark, you can't really tell. It's just like, yeah, there's a old Romanian guy with a mustache that wants to buy stuff who's got some gold apparently, but he doesn't do all the, I don't know, extracurricular stuff that the other vampires do. There seems to be so many different weird sides to him. He's like, I'm normal and I want to, like, appetite, lust, blood, influence of plague that kind of spills out because of it. So I feel like it's a simplified version.
I think it's a very thematic version.
Yeah.
That fits.
Yeah. I don't want to say simplified. I feel like that's not doing it justice. Focused, maybe.
Grounded, maybe?
Okay.
The way he's presented is more human than you might expect.
I could see that.
So the feelings and reactions we get from his aura and actions in the story, I think they are human, right? They are frightening, but they are human. Ideas of lust and jealousy and obsession. So I talked about Peter going nude and forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
How do you feel about seeing Count Orlok,
His wang.
his naked body? How do you feel about the filmmaker's decision to show him nude, like fully nude?
I don't know. It felt abrupt. It is a lot. It's right in your face.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess behind the scenes thing, they actually had it was a prop that was added. It's not his actual penis.
Mm.
They used the prop so that they could just show it. I guess there's a SAG. What's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of Screen Actors Guild SAG.
Oh,
There's there's like a lot of
I guess
there's a lot of stipulations when there's like nudity and stuff involved. There's like only certain people are allowed. There's like hoops to jump through. But if it's a prop that's being used, they don't have to jump through all the hoops, I guess. And I guess it was given to Nick Holt as like it was framed, given to him like a like a gift or whatever. Like what do you call that? A rap gift?
Yeah.
When your character's done for the shoot, the film, they call it a wrap. It's a wrap on that guy,
right?
And so as a wrap party, they usually have a gift, and that's one of the gifts they gave him.
Was
The penis? was in a picture. It was like in a framed in like a shadow box. They gave it to him. But I don't know. I thought it was. I don't jokingly say it was like raping my eyes, but I mean like it did feel like like it was supposed to be abrupt, aggressive.
Like he could have done the scene without showing it, but there's a reason.
Right.
And for me, it reminds us that this is a man. Nosferatu, vampire, whatever. But this guy's motivations and his actions are of a man. And here it is.
Yeah.
To remind you, this is a man with those feelings.
I feel like it's also stripped of any I don't know. I want to say clothing, but like it's stripped of any extra frivolities. It's this naked, nothing else. Appetite. It's these simple features is what makes him him.
Right. And if that's a man, and your comments earlier, then you see this guy as a threat now, right? Mm-hmm. And if I see Count Orlok as a man, a representation of, say, an abusive and narcissistic ex-boyfriend, then all of his antics and traits are like textbook, stalker, coercive, violent, selfish, jealous, shifting blame, manipulative. I mean, the guy literally tried to trick Ellen's husband to legally giving her back to him. It's like Looney Tunes stuff.
Yeah. It's like, just sign here.
Don't read it.
Don't read it. Sign here. What are all these weird markings? No. Boilerplate stuff.
How dare you insult me? So speaking to his manipulation, when he visits Ellen, one of his quotes was, "Remember how we once were, a moment, remember?" It was in that language, but that's what he said. So it's such a human attempt at controlling someone, trying to play off their nostalgia and their memories and all of that. Because you get the sense up until then, like when you see Thomas's character, he's like, oh yeah, well, I control him. I made him open the door to let me in so I could suck his blood. But with Ellen, because of how thematically Orlok is built, can't just control her. Right. Well, not in this sense. Anyway, he can't just have her. Mm-hmm. He can influence her, but he can't just take her for his own.
Right. He can kill everyone around her.
And they made the comment, or I think he even said it, that she needs to give herself willingly. Yeah. And it's like, well, what a weird thing to have done. We talked about the lack of rules, but this one seems to hold firm.
Right.
And that's why I said built very thematically to give the audience the message a little bit more.
They jokingly call that, like when we're doing warrant executions, they call it the vampire rule. Like you got to be invited in. On certain stipulations, they're like, oh, that's a vampire rule. We can't. Just hissing at the door frame. I
also think that Orlok is paradoxical. I mean, vampires themselves could be seen this way already. The idea of being undead, human yet monstrous, die to become immortal. Orlok even admits in a scene with Ellen when she says that he cannot love. He replies with, "I cannot, yet I cannot be sated without you."
Right. Okay.
There's a point where Orlok makes a threat of 3 days for Ellen to submit or he will kill everyone in her life. Mm-hmm. The issue is that making good on these threats made his presence tangible for skeptical people like Friedrich and puts urgency and a plan in place for the others to kill the Count. He unknowingly instituted his own countdown on his life, much like the bouquet of flowers. So thematically, Orlok has made others understand the validity of the effects of trauma. So you had mentioned that before with Ellen, where, oh, we'll just give her more ether and this is all in her head. This is, kind of boo-hooing her experiences. And so I took note of that. And so when Orlok reaches into other people's lives and kills the girls, and he kills Friedrich's wife, now it makes it real, and it makes them more motivated to find an end to the Count, right. to the end of what Orlok represents with that trauma, that those abusive memories.
Like everyone's more willing to go along with Franz's ideas, because he pretty much opposes all the main science stuff because, he dabbles in the occult. He was laughed out of town because of his thoughts and beliefs and stuff. And it's, you're attacking this sickness like it's realistic, tangible science stuff, and it's beneath that. It's something ethereal. It's something spiritual. It's something in the occult world.
And to me, Franz was into the mind, the human psyche. I mentioned the dark romanticism. That's what he dives into. Yeah. All of the nasty parts of the human psyche. That's where he studies. So that's why he's able to understand, Ellen,
she's her. She kind of portrays like a victim of possibly sex abuse or something like that, where they go, oh, she's having these issues. Let's cover her mouth. Let's knock her out. Let's tie her up. Let's all bind her. Because what did her father say when she first showed signs of having seizures? He's like, "Sin, get her away," and never talk to her again or whatever it was. And so he's like, well, we got to go into the dark places to try to figure out what we can do to help this girl.
Right, and it was kind of liberate her.
Yes, yes.
Let her.
There's a scene where they were ripping the corset off of her because she can't breathe.
And when you relate that to a contemporary mind, it's you can't just suppress all of those feelings and thoughts and doubts and worries and dark thoughts. They need to be out there, and people around you that are there for you need to know what's affecting you.
Right.
So, in his death, Orlok, he collapses on top of Ellen, remaining between her and Thomas as Thomas closes her eyes. So that's that wedge right there that Nosferatu has been her whole life. Orlok's body acts like a weight, keeping Ellen down and immobile, much like he did when they were living. So going back to being paradoxical, because Orlok is thematically connected to Ellen, her shame, right? That's how she described Orlok at one point. Yes. He is my shame.
Yeah.
It only makes sense that if she succumbs to his influence, that he be extinguished as well. His sole motivation is also the only way he can be led to his demise. Orlok says, "Your passion is bound to me." Mm-hmm. So the one thing that was his motive for doing anything in this movie was the thing that was going to end him. And if thematically, Orlok is a representation of all that, the ugly parts of past relationship and their effects on someone in life in the present, then it only makes sense that if she succumbs to those dark thoughts, then that's where his influence would be extinguished.
I might ease your wound.
Well, I don't know if I completely agree, but I would venture out to say that it makes him vulnerable, and she uses that to his advantage by keeping him there enough to where it kills him. So he's only vulnerable in the moments where she finally lets him have what he wants, doing her in also, but saving everyone else. So
There's a point where Franz says, I'm afraid that he's impervious to our stakes or whatever. And I took note of that one because it made me think, well, if the stakes aren't going to kill him, that's the whole idea that we were led to believe for the rest of the movie was, oh yeah, well, if you just take that pickaxe that just happened to be next to the coffin in the beginning,
right.
We saw that Orlok was able to get around that, and then with Franz making that comment that our stakes aren't going to kill him, and he has that conversation with Ellen when he says, in heathen times you might be a great
princess or something
priestess,
like that? Priestess, okay.
Or like Isis or something like that.
Yeah.
Basically saying, like, you're the only way that this thing is going to die.
Right.
You're the only exit this thing has to our lives. It's going to be you. And he's basically like letting her know, like,
You're the doorway, you're the portal in
Like-
more ways than one.
but it was like you're the only one that can truly defeat this.
Yeah.
And thematically that fits as well. Any other thoughts on the use of Orlok?
I don't know. It was an interesting take on him, though, because I don't think they've ever used a vampire like that, where he's like, I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe the original Orlok was more like that, but ever since then, they have rules and stuff. Like, I watched True Blood back in the day. It was kind of interesting. It's like but they were very much silver, garlic, sunlight. It does this, does that, you know? And then stake to the heart, they would like, they call it the true death. It was kind of neat. But it was neat because he played within those rules. But it made it that's part of the game. Those are the chess moves now. But when you have a movie like this where you're not quite sure what you can or can't do, the chess moves become vague and obscure. And that's when you, Von Franz, I think, like he knew Orlok's move is to go to her. It's on the third night. And so they went to the house thinking she has to dispatch of him because we can't do it. The only thing we're going to do is we're going to end up dead. So we're going to go to the castle where I don't think he's going to be here. And it turns out Ernok's in the coffin and they're kill him anyway, you know.
Then that's why, to me, thematically, it was always going to be her, and when she dies, he dies, because if Franz knew otherwise how to defeat Orlok, he probably would have helped.
Would have done it.
Yeah. So his only way was like, you're the only one that can do it. We're going to stay out of your way. You do what you got to do.
Right.
And there wasn't even like well, you got to keep him up until the daylight comes. Make sure the first cock crows. There was like none of that. It was just kind of like, we'll do our part.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. What was it?
And because that's part of the, if I see Orlok as that symbol, there is no true one answer that you can tell someone, here's how you get over it.
Right.
So, and the only way that she got over it was succumbing to it.
Yeah.
And
see, that's interesting for her because she's like a terminally, I don't like say, like I used that term before, terminally flawed characters, where it's not in her character to be so flawed. She's going to lose what's her name? Haley. from
Florida Project?
From Florida Project, where I'm like, it's in her character to not be able to.
It's in your nature to destroy yourselves.
Yeah. Thank you, Terminator.
Use your own movie against you.
But like she, from the onset, starts off with this monologue as she's reaching out, and then what comes back to her is like a demon that attaches itself to her, that everyone around you is going to suffer unless you can end it, and that means ending yourself. And that's romantic darkness romanticized right there. So it was interesting.
Well, I think we're reaching into some other things, so I'm going to have you ding us, and we'll move into theme. Do you have one off the top of your head? So, I believe there are several themes in this movie, and you could interpret things a few different ways here. Femininity, loneliness, repression, shame, sexuality, and even social norms. But what I was drawn to, and what was presented from beginning to end consistently, at least what I'm taking note of, had to do with the relationships between self and lovers. Betwixt them. So when I say this theme, I could relate it to other aspects of life, but for this conversation in this episode, I do mean it in the context of relationships.
Okay.
So succumbing to the dark influence of memory and trauma.
I like it.
I'm trying to be careful here because Ellen is presented as kind of a modern character for the time that she's in. So sexual, bold, emotional, complex, ambitious, defying what is expected of a woman for that time. When Friedrich kicks her out, he's like kind of like, you need to, paraphrasing, but like, you need to fall in line with what's expected of you.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying any of those are bad characteristics, especially if I'm using a contemporary lens here. However, her expectations and needs and desires and outlook are all influenced by her past with Count Orlok. Her hope for a happy life and a stable partner are doomed because all of those things have been molded by Orlok, then repressed for society, then warped for her relationship with Thomas. We talked last episode about using maturity, purpose, and hope to overcome the negative effects of a past relationship. Due to the vampiric connection Ellen has with Count Orlok, there is no development of any of those, right? There's no real maturity. She seems static, unchanging. She just tormented this whole time. Purpose doesn't feel like she has any purpose in this thing is because she's so tormented. Mm-hmm. And the hope, I mentioned at the beginning with her perspective on the lilacs being killed just by plucking them instead of seeing the beauty and the gesture of presenting them to a loved one. So just that perspective already overshadows the idea of hope. So none of those things seem like they're able to grow in this movie for her. And at least in this podcast, we highlighted those three ideas as being big things that get you past, those negative effects. Yeah. So to give in to Orlok's obsession is to give up the chance for maturity and purpose and hope for a future with Thomas. At the start of the movie, we see Ellen praying for a cure for her loneliness. And just like our past discussion of Talk to Me, I don't know if you saw that one or not.
That was one that I sat out of.
Yeah.
That was my one sit out, yeah.
Like, no, my surgery is next week.
Yeah.
Well, it was last week, Tin Man. No. But and Talk to Me, it's like that hand,
yep.
And they reach for it.
I saw a bunch of spoofs of it.
But it's when you're in that vulnerable state that you saw Ellen in the beginning, like, someone, anybody,
yep.
cure me of my loneliness. I feel like that can be an invitation to be taken advantage of, the opening for a source of trauma to make its way into someone's life. And here, it is the introduction to the dark influence in her life in the form of Count Orlok. And when I say dark influence, it's a shadow that encompasses a great deal of negative things. Doubt, hopelessness, insecurity, confusion, shame, distraction, sadness. The list can go on. Negative and lasting effects from a hurtful or abusive relationship. By the end of the movie, her relationship with Thomas has been usurped by the memory and trauma and control of that dark influence. And as the movie shows, this is too much for Ellen to overcome. The only escape and redemption that she can see is to sacrifice herself, and in doing so, taking Nosferatu with her. Of course, if Nosferatu is a symbol for that personal dark influence, then it makes thematic sense that he dissolves as Ellen dies.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that theme?
No, it was good. It was quite the theme. It was enough for all three of us.
So I say that we see some similarities here with both Casablanca and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Story-wise, conceptually, and thematically. So there's some ideas I'm just going to spout out that might be similarities between them. We have a character that has a depth of love to sacrifice so that the spouse may live. Mm-hmm. You might recognize that from Casablanca.
Yeah.
An obsessive character that has yet to learn those depths outside of their own desires. That would be the other side in Casablanca. That would be Rick, right? Not really getting that love can be that deep. You got sex to make the previous lover jealous. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
They're on both sides of the wall. And then here you had our haunting sex scene.
Yeah.
Where it's like she leans back. She's like, "Oh, watch," or telling Orlok to watch them or whatever.
Yeah.
So definitely trying to make Orlok jealous in that. I would say. You saw emotional isolation. I think in all three movies with Ellen, with Peter, with Rick. They kind of take themselves out of things, and they're dealing with hardships that no one else is there with them.
Right. Unlikely
meetups with former lovers across the world.
Huh. Oh, yeah. Hey, you're really finding these.
Like Rick is in Morocco in Casablanca.
Yeah,
like of all the dives, or whatever that quote is. She walks into mine.
Joints and all the places in all the world. Walk into mine. Yeah.
And then Peter's like checking in at a hotel resort.
Yep.
And like,
what
are you doing here? The exact same. Here to murder you.
Here to murder you. Yeah.
And then Nosferatu, where I don't know how far apart the estate and is it Transylvania? Is it Romania? I don't know, but either way, it wasn't the same spot that Ellen was in.
Yeah, I mean, he had to take a boat voyage to get back,
and then they had to go across some form of sea or ocean or something.
Well, Orlok did to get there. He had to go across some big body of water.
There's the idea of trying to get over a past relationship with the pains from that relationship. That memory interrupting how you live in the present.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Do you see any other similarities here?
I don't know. You really nailed them. You really went pretty thorough on those ones.
I think it's like that dark romanticism too of like, Rick is like drinking by himself, like you played it for her, play it for me, like I want to feel my pain.
Yes.
And
That's
Peter playing the song, the Dracula song, like he wants to, I hear her too. Like wants to just sit there and cry in his room.
Yep. Go see a therapist. I hate seeing a therapist.
Go see one anyway.
Anyway.
So just some ideas out there that they are kind of, there's some threads there between the three stories. So though these three movies have plenty to say about the lasting impacts of past relationships, there are key differences, obviously. But there's differences on the outlook of love. Without being cynical, I feel the Nosferatu points out how devastating a harmful past can be to someone in the present. In a weird sort of way, this movie actually offers, I think, an important portrayal of that dark side of relationships. Real and important concepts in relationships presented in a darkly romanticized way. Casablanca seems, at least in my perspective, to offer a regularly romanticized version of the impacts of past relationships. The idea of we'll always have Paris.
Yep.
And, he did the right thing at the end. And kind of learning how to love, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Or learning how to be okay with it,
Yeah,
Here's
be
looking at
like
you,
that's,
kid.
yep,
Yeah.
that was that point in time. I can let go, I can mature, and hope for a new whatever.
Yeah. Yep. You can let it go now. Let it go.
Forgetting
Die in
Sarah,
the light.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall feels like it combines some aspects from both movies. You have a hint of dark romanticism in Peter's despair, his music, and recurring connection to Dracula. But you also have the hope of a new future relationship and maturity to let go of an unsuccessful past relationship.
Yep. Full frontal in both.
Yes. That is right.
Some vulnerable nudity in both.
Some thematic nudity.
Some thematic nudity. Yep.
Do you ever think I'd be able to support showing of the male body in my theme?
Yeah.
For both Forgetting Sarah Marshall and Nosferatu?
Thought there was no reason for it. This is gratuitous penis in your face. No, it's for...
No, I'm going to talk about it.
No, it has meaning. It's depth. Depth. We're deeply perceiving these in this depth
length.
perception.
But all three movies have an internal struggle of a protagonist to be free from that grasp of a past relationship. However, I think each of these has a different outcome from that struggle. In Casablanca, Rick learns to let go of that past and it's best for everybody, right? Yep. And it kind of returns it back to an emotional balance. In Forgetting Sarah,
Put it.
yeah,
Emotional balance.
Yeah, because
Some homeostasis.
he's ready to move on from the Rick's Cafe American or whatever. He's ready to move on from that point in his life, that sadness, that pit of sorrow
There you go.
that cafe is.
Yeah. The wallowing pit of despair.
In Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Peter takes that idea one step further and finds peace so that he may begin a new stable relationship. So kind of a little bit further in that journey than Rick made it seem. Yeah. Of course, Nosferatu shows what happens when someone cannot move on, though. Even if she did all she could on her part. Just the scars were too deep, the wounds were too deep, And, I guess it was more that her past wouldn't let go of her, rather than her not being able to let go of her past.
Yeah.
Maybe it was both.
Maybe it was both.
So speaking about all this talk of Forgetting Sarah Marshall and use of Dracula, how do you view the use of Dracula in Forgetting Sarah Marshall now?
Does it change? Okay, so when we did Forgetting Sarah Marshall, we kind of viewed Dracula as being, I viewed it as that's his old relationship letting go. That's the negative version of his pain from that past relationship finally dying, and in the in the Muppet play, like goes to heaven, and they all sing and stuff. But that's his way of being able to let go completely, so that he can finally learn to accept and love Mila Kunis's character instead of trying to juggle them both, not being completely healed. So he's still kind of getting pulled by Sarah, and 2 seconds of a BJ or whatever it was. So he's not getting played both ways anymore. He can let go of one in order to actually focus on the other one.
Wasn't it 10 to 15 seconds?
Yeah, 10 to 15 seconds. That's what it was.
He's like Gandhi.
He's like Gandhi, but better. But how would I see it now in lieu of this movie? Like, how would I relate those two? Or now seeing this movie, does the Dracula the musical have more of a...
Yeah, do you think that this movie puts any more depth to the use of Dracula? Does it add any more layers for you?
I don't know, because Dracula...
Because it certainly could be its own depiction.
Right, because Dracula has its own... Dracula still has like the rules in game that make sense. The Nosferatu, Orlok, has like a... I don't know. It's very much like the same thing, where that's a hurt, painful, version of something that's attached to you that you can't get away from. One is him trying to let go of this old relationship and move on. That's his Rick's Americano or whatever. But this one kills her. This one is going to eat her alive, and everyone else is going to be better for it. Where Dracula the musical, it's so that the monster can die and everyone else can live happily ever after now. I don't know. Okay, we'll start with this. What do you have? And then I'll see if I can throw anything else after that.
Well, one of the things I paid attention to, or try to include when I was thinking about this question, was, in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, he says in that conversation with Rachel that he relates to Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only scene that we see of the finished product is when Dracula dies.
Right.
And there is also the last shot of the movie is the puppets of Dracula and Dracula's lover hanging up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was trying to figure out why did we only see Dracula die? Why did it end up on that shot? Because if he feels like he's Dracula and we're celebrating these puppets, what are we thematically saying here? Like, why are we still celebrating these when Dracula died? And we're supposed to think that Peter's lovable, that he can love again.
Monster.
Right. So trying to put all those together and then seeing the depth to Orlok in Nosferatu, here's what I got.
Okay, let's see what you got.
I think Peter relating himself to Dracula is kind of a self-acknowledgement that he has to change.
Okay.
Right? So think of his attitude after his breakup with Sarah Marshall, and even during his time with her, because it's inferred by her comments later in the movie, right, that, well, we see that he had already been working on this thing. Mm-hmm. He was figuratively sucking the life out of whoever he was around, like a vampire literally does. Mm-hmm. The connotation that he was like Dracula and related to that character is already a dark romanticism. It's a character much like the depiction of Nosferatu we get today that delves into obsession, selfishness, emotional isolation. Peter's play is his process to getting over himself, learning from this time in his life rather than sulking in it.
Okay.
So when I say that it's a self-acknowledgement that he has to change, when he's starting to write this play, it's kind of realizing that he does feel that way and then finishing the play is that self-acknowledge that it has to change.
Okay.
Is how I saw that part. That's why I think it's important that his brother-in-law, it was his brother-in-law, right? Yeah, they weren't related by blood.
No, it's his half, or yeah. It was his stepbrother.
One of those.
Yeah.
But I thought it was important that he was part of the play. And it was important that Rachel views it, and that when we see the finished product, the only scene we get is when Dracula is killed. All those things are integral for Peter to have his happy ending and move forward. Dracula is defeated, as is Peter's self-loathing.
Okay.
The last shot of the movie, I remember the puppets. That one distracted me in trying to connect all these. I'm like, why are we celebrating?
Yeah, why did it end on the puppets together?
Right.
Because the puppet's supposed to be Rachel, right? The other female?
We're assuming.
Assuming, okay.
Yeah, she had black hair. The puppet had black
yeah.
hair, I mean. So the last shot shows the puppets hanging on the wall, representing Peter and Rachel. So remember, Rachel also had some issues that she was still hurting and escaping from. To me, the idea is that both Peter and Rachel have healed enough to move on and have retired from that hurtful time in their lives, represented by the puppets being hung up, their old selves put to rest.
Okay.
So that's how I saw that. And that's
how we can make it make sense in our heads. Right?
Yeah,
I like
that's
it.
That's how I'm doing it.
Okay.
So
I
it's
got nothing
Peter
better,
moving
so
on.
all right.
So, any other thoughts on Dracula across
all three of
Casablanca
this?
into freaking Sarah Marshall?
No, but I like it though. That was neat though. It's like, hey, how is Dracula vampiric symbolism in relationships across these three completely different movies? Man, this is a high level class here. This is not a 100 level class here. I will say this though, I did enjoy all these movies though.
Yeah.
Because I sat through like half an hour and then I played basketball. It was like right before I went to basketball as I watched it. And then I think it was the next day I ended up watching the whole thing straight through. So it was... I tried to get K-Max in on it. He's been so busy though. He's like, I don't really have time. I got this, I got that. I was like, oh, okay.
Sure.
You should have get on in on this one. It's got no excuse for next week then.
I think he would have enjoyed this one though. But
I think so.
Maybe not the movie. But the discussion.
Yeah, the discussion probably. The movie, he's hit and miss on some of the movies though. But if he was pretty busy though.
If he can appreciate what he appreciated out of like Mother and Midsommar, then
I liked our discussion on Mother way more than I liked watching Mother. But to be fair, watching Mother, you're like, okay, they're trying to tell me something, you know? And this movie had those too, where like everything was particular for a reason, for a theme, for a story, for depth. You know, there was something to it. It wasn't just like filler, you know, like it meant something. It was intentional. A lot of it was intentional. So some of that makes sometimes the journey kind of fun, because now I'm playing Clue, playing theme roulette or whatever, trying to figure out what's going on. And I know you kind of you'll come up with something. You call it pulling threads.
Pulling thread, yeah.
I feel like it's like I plugged a formula in to see if it checked out, you know. And I'm like, okay, if this is this and this is this, then this should come out to 7. It didn't. Damn it. Okay, let's try it again.
Yeah, which variable was off on that?
Yeah, that thread just like, oh, that's it. Okay, try the next one. Yeah.
I will say that I watched the movie a third time with the commentary from the director on.
Oh, nice.
So he went through... It wasn't so much like thematic choices. It was more technical things that that happened. And I guess it was a lot of filming on a stage. So as on location as this feels, apparently a lot of it is just on a stage. Yeah. A couple interesting things, though. He said the music, and I think I told you this the other day, but the notes, it's like boom, 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 and it's supposed to be like Nosferatu.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be like, again, we talked about darkness and shadow and decay closing in on you, and just that added aspect from the music, feeling like everything that you're experiencing is because of Count Orlok.
Yeah. The influence that Count Orlok has over the shadows or the storm that shows up when the boat's trying to cross. Like, everything has his hands in it.
He was actually very critical of his work at times when it came to like continuity or historical stuff, and he mentioned when the nuns save Thomas and they bring him back, they said the one nun is holding the cross in her left hand. He said that's sacrilegious right there. It should be in her right hand. And he pointed out a couple things like that too, where he's like, oh well, that didn't add up there, but I tried.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
And
I know one of the reviews I was looking at was talking about his history, like other movies he saw, because that person was excited to see this one, knowing all the other stuff. And it's like goes into the effort that he put into behind it. This guy's apparently he was so excited to do this movie because he had written and directed the play when he was in like high school. Did like a Nosferatu musical or did like a play then and wrote it for them.
He was also trying to forget Sarah Marshall.
Apparently. He was trying to leave Ingrid Bergman. Same one.
The other thing I thought was interesting was like the rules that you mentioned. He was very cognizant of them, though, even though what we see on the screen feels nebulous.
Yes.
He was very to the literature, Oh, well, it says at first cock's crow. So not specifically sunlight that kills Nosferatu, but just it being day is what gets him.
Yeah. I will say this, though. Roosters are stupid, and they'll go off at 4 a.m.
Well, that's why he's got to be in his coffin, so he can't hear it. But it was things like that, though, where he pointed out, he's like, well, technically, they say this, so I try not to make it be about the sunlight. And there's other things like that he mentioned in there. So that's the first commentary I've listened to in quite some time.
That's cool.
But yeah, it was pretty interesting.
I didn't get to listen to anything from him directly. It was like there's one that was like they said it was awful and they hated it, and I kind of wanted to hear their point of view, why they hated it so much. Pretty much just relating it to why it wasn't as good as Dracula. Like why the book Bram Stoker's was so much better than what they did here. And I'm like, well, they're clearly not trying to tell the same story.
Right.
And I don't think it took away from anything that I watched when I saw Nosferatu. So
I think
interesting enough, but
in the far off future, that'll be a chapter of interpreting media and why it's not fair to compare a book to a movie, and vice versa.
Right.
But that's a chapter. That's another story altogether.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on relationships, on Nosferatu, on any of these things before I wrap up this chapter?
Well, I tried to send this meme and it said yes Feratu, and it ended up giving thumbs up.
Vozferatu.
That's a good one.
That's a Wheel of Fortune before and after. Mr. Vozferatu.
That could be a man. I gotta dress you up. Deco. Nah.
Give me a fake piece. I'll frame it and give it to you. The season finale.
Yeah, Nosferatu. Keeping it. Arrested Development, got your frontispiece.
Yeah.
Your face shows you unwell.